Tens of millions of crude oil barrels per year. Thousands of kilometers of pipelines. Billions of rubles of allocations to the budget of the country. Unique technology and the most qualified professionals. All this is Zarubezhneft. Iraq, India, Syria, Cuba, Vietnam. More than 30 countries around the world, experts Zarubezhneft helped to create and to develop the oil industry. Zarubezhneft is a leader among Russian companies working internationally. Half a century of success around the world. Half a century of protecting the interests of the motherland. In 1967, for the first time, the Soviet Union created a company with geopolitical objectives: to bring the Russian oil industry to the international market and strengthen foreign economic relations. This was the start of Zarubezhneft. Also, at that time, we had oil and gas, science and engineering services, and a sufficiently high level of industry. Zarubezhneft began its work in Iraq. Soviet specialists have not only run the largest deposits, which are in North Rumelia and in West Kurna, but also conducted an enormous amount of seismic work. Thousands of miles of territory were analyzed in detail, based on this promising field highlighted. In 1968, Soviet oil workers were next directed to India. For the first time, Zarubezhneft specialists were not only opening up the field, but organized a whole program of development for the oil industry over 20 years. As a result, there are over 100 wells in operation. A few years later, a small oil program was developed for Syria. Zarubezhneft specialists first started working in the national oil and gas sector in Rumelan. It is still the foundation of the Syrian oil industry. In Algeria, Yemen, Iran, and many other countries, Zarubezhneft has raised the oil industry to a whole new level. In just 20 years, Zarubezhneft established the presence of the Soviet Union in 25 countries. Vietnam occupies a special page in the history of the company. In the early 80s, Zarubezhneft created a powerful oil and gas industry for Vietnam and raised it to one of the 3 largest oil-producing countries in Southeast Asia. In 1981, the government of the USSR and Vietnam for the first time decided to establish a joint company to develop the shelf of the South Vietnamese. So there is a Vietsovpetro, in which the Soviet side is Zarubezhneft, Vietnam, Petro-Vietnam. For more than 3 decades, it has been one of the most cost-effective oil producers in the world. What we have today and what the Vietnamese people have received, what Vietnam has today because of this project, probably owes its thanks to the efforts of our pioneers who came here. Each year, the treasury of the economy received from the activities of Vietsovpetro more than $500 million US. The total income in 2012 exceeded $9 billion US. In 2002, Japan joined in the cooperation of Russia and Vietnam. A joint company, VRJ Petroleum Company, was created. The new company is successfully producing oil in Block 09-3, offshore southern Vietnam. The total volume of the reserves in this field is 56 million tons of oil. The obvious success of the work in Vietnam allowed the signing of a new contract in 2010. It extended the cooperation between Russia and Vietnam for 20 years. Vietsovpetro is a unique friendship between the two countries. There is nothing like it anywhere in the world. I can say that foreign companies are envious of such a successful 30-year Another priority area of Zarubezhneft is cooperation with countries in the Balkan region. In 2008 to 2009, Zarubezhneft specialists restored 2 plants and a network of gas stations destroyed and damaged during the war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Today, the motor oil production plant in Modrice and oil refinery Wade produce 25% of the GDP. Zarubezhneft activities in this country have become the triumphant return of Russia to the Balkans. The production of the Wade refinery was doubled after reconstruction. 3 million tons a year is its new level of business. It now produces some of the best diesel fuels in Europe, Euro 4 and Euro 5. In addition, residents of the Republic of Srpska and Bosnia and Herzegovina received 1,000 and a half new jobs. Moreover, Zarubezhneft will be engaged in the exploration of fields in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And if they proved significant reserves of oil in our territory, we will hold a pipeline near the refinery, so that our cooperation with the Russian is very massive. Because of the activities of Zarubezhneft, performance of another plant in the city of Modrice continues to increase. Today it produces 60,000 tons of oil per year. The production range has increased to 250 products. After 10 years of inactivity, the plant resumed a leadership position in Europe. The process of investing Zarubezhneft is not over yet. The cooperation is gaining momentum. In the future, we plan to substantially expand the market by the European Union. But the Balkans is not the only region where Russia has returned because of Zarubezhneft. After almost 20 years, cooperation with Cuba has resumed. The foundation for this was laid in 1986. After 4 years, seismic surveys of the northern shelf were completed. Several exploitation projects of major fields in Cuba, Boca de Jaruca and Varadero, have been drafted. And now, after 20 years, Zarubezhneft returned to Cuba. Already signed long-term contracts on cooperation in exploration and field development up to 2034. In recent years, Zarubezhneft has rapidly expanded the boundaries of its activities and now uses its unique technology in Russia. In 2008, Zarubezhneft wins the contest for development of 4 blocks in central Karaver Rise in the Nenets Autonomous Region, and in the same year, for these purposes, creates a mirror copy of the Vietsov Petro, a joint venture, Rusviet Petro. In record time, for 3 years in the harsh conditions of the far north, the specialists put into operation 2 fields, North Hasdayuskaya and Visoye. Pipeline construction of nearly 100 miles is being built, as well as the creation of a significant transportation infrastructure. By the end of 2015, the company plans to launch 7 more fields in the central Karaver uplift. Proved oil reserves in all fields of this region, 100 million tons. The Russian north is fertile soil for yet another international agreement. In 2009, the French company Total Exploration and Development of Russia and the Norwegian company Norsk Hydro Sverige AB assigned to Zarubezhneft 20% of all rights and obligations for oil in the Kharyaga field. For Russia, such an agreement is a major breakthrough in the oil industry. The effective activity of the company is impossible without the scientific and industrial potential. From 2004 into the Zarubezhneft includes leading industry institutes, Institute of Oil and Giprovostock-Neft, and interdisciplinary scientific and technical complex Nefta Dacha that allows the company to use their practice in the most advanced technology, in mining and enhanced oil recovery. Zarubezhneft is a completely state-owned company. This means that every project has both economic and political components. Today, the strategic plans of the company is developing partnerships with Iran, Malta, Africa, and the resumption of activities in Iraq and India. Zarubezhneft activities display the height of Russia's prestige all over the world.